All the PIDs. All the PIDs. All the PID toolboxes. All of the lines. All of the squiggles. What does it mean? What does it mean? What? No, honestly, what does it mean? What have I done to get this Apex Mini 3 flying and flying reasonably well? I'm no expert, but I'm going to run through the basics of what I've done. This is not a how-to guide. Please do not take this and apply these settings to your own quad. It'll probably catch fire or something or emigrate to France. Anyway, my port setup was the same as the Copus Mini. Don't really care about any of that. The PID tuning is really where things go a little bit different on this, and obviously the motor setup. I set up the motors in terms of the order and the direction, got all that done. Brilliant. In the configuration, I have been playing around with a couple of things. The PID loop frequency I've changed to 3.2 kilohertz. It's capable, so why not? Now, under the PID tuning side of things, I have changed the dynamic idle value to a fairly hefty 40, and that's really to try and iron out some of the prop wash that I was getting. The next thing to do was to look at the filter settings, get the filtering done correctly in the first place. Let's see, are we even connected to the right quad? Yes, we are. We're connected into the Apex 3 Mini. No low pass 1, I've enabled low pass 2, no notch filters, stock RPM filter, stock dynamic notch filter, and D-term low pass 1 and 2 are all in there. Now, how does that look on the black box logs? Well, it looks something like this. Super clean. This was a gentle flight. Frame resonance here, motor, so this is the frequency versus throttle vibration of the motors, and a bit of scattered noise up here. It looks really good. Excuse me. Nothing around the 100 Hertz side of things, and that's great to see, because if I have any noise around this area, that's really going to cause me problems. So once I got this to a point where it was running nicely, if we took one of the take a look at one of the later flights, we'll have a look at the data on this, if it pops up. Yep, there we go. So even cleaner again. We're just looking really nice. This is a nice place to be. Next up is to do some basic PID tuning. If I go back into Betaflight, I set all these to default, and then I did a series of runs where the D gains damping, and this was the stick response to dynamic damping turned all the way down. The damping from 0.7, 0.9, 1.1, 1.3 and so on, and then pulled all of that data into PID Toolbox. PID Toolbox, then I loaded up the flight files from the log, went to the step response tool, and under the step response tool, let's select all of them for now, just get all the data, and looked at the Y correction. Once it's processed the Y correction, we'll be able to see a bunch of responses on the input. So here we can see they're all overshooting to a certain degree and coming back down on these latest flights, but they're not too bad. I can't get the response, this little hump out of the response, without going even higher on the D gains, and at that point I'm starting to get flutter, and that's where my expertise really runs out. So I've managed to get this down from a whopping 1.5 overshoot and a big wiggle to something that looks pretty reasonable. So the roll is looking alright, although this is a bit of an issue, but it still flies nice even with this. It's close, but I'll need an expert's help on that for sure. Pitch response, similar sort of thing. It's a bit slower to come back in line, but again, it's doing okay. I've picked a various mix of these settings, and these are the different settings that I've had over each run. It just gives you an idea. The yaw response, not brilliant, but you know what, it doesn't really matter, it works. And to be honest, I haven't seen many tunes where this gets super up on it and you never really notice it with yaw anyway, so I'm happy with that. The next thing was obviously to set those settings in Betaflight. So my filters were absolutely fine. The PIDs, the way they've came out is I've put the damping to 1.15, tracking to 0.85, stick response to 1, dynamic damping up to 105, drift wobble is stock. Pitch damping had to come down a little bit because under here, where are we? Under here, the pitch response was slightly peaky and it needed bringing down. It was a little bit under dampened, so I've reduced that ever so slightly on the pitch damping. Tracking of less stock, and the master multiplier I've wound up until we're starting to get some jitter. So these are the settings that I'm running on the quad. What we'll do now is we'll hop out to the session where I'm going to fly these settings and get my thoughts on it. Here we go. Alright. The Apex Mini 3-inch is ready, and I've been doing some tweaking and fiddling on it, which has gone very well. Let's give you a little clean. It's gone very well. So I've had this plugged into Betaflight. I've taken off the logs. I've shoved them through PID Toolbox. I've changed the attack. Picked my D gains. They're looking good. The pitch and roll are almost perfect. Exactly where I want them. The yaw is a little bit off. It's a little bit lazy, but isn't it always? Filtering was done before that, really clean. I'm really impressed with the chassis. I'll tell you all about it as we get it up in the air. But for now, let's clip you onto the front of me. This way around. Like so. I've got some black batteries for this as well, as you can see. Put some black wrap on them, but I've run out of those. So I'm going to shove on one of these, which is exactly the same battery, it's just not black. Unstealth. So let's chuck this in. Take my glasses off, pop this on the ground, about there, pop the goggles on, and we'll go for a little fly. So let me get this recording in the goggles. There we are. Make sure I'm on my profile, air mode, and off we go. Oh, little tap. What's been going on? Yeah, been having fun with PID Toolbox. This is the first time I've really played around with PID Toolbox in any kind of anger, and I thought I'd get it right for this build because I was keen to get this handling well. My first little Apex, albeit a mini. I wanted this to be more of a freestyle quad than a Cinewoop or anything else. It's kind of where I'm having the most fun at the moment, is in the freestyle. So I spent some time in the PID Toolbox and got those attack lines looking pretty nice and tasty for the pitch and roll. Yaw is being a bit lazy. What I was most impressed with this, looking at the Flight Explorer, Blackbox Flight Explorer, was the fact that the vibrations from the chassis are so well contained. There is nothing around the 100 Hertz mark. It's all sort of sub 67 Hertz, and the motor noise is really well defined and easy to filter out. There's pretty much no noise anywhere else, which is incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. I don't know whether that has anything to do with the fact I've mounted the flight control on the upper deck. I have no idea, but whatever it is, it's just a very, very, very good chassis in terms of noise. So that's enabled me to turn off low pass filter 1, leave low pass filter 2, turn off the notch filters, and really relax everything to the point where this can just have fun doing its thing. And it shows, it's really responsive. It really is going where I want it to. Now the PID Toolbox is my first time playing around with that in any kind of anger, as I said, so that was a bit of a learning curve. Watched a couple of videos on that. A lot of people have been saying, oh, you should, your quads look like they fly really well. Yeah, they do fly okay from my perspective. Probably not as good if I gave this to Chris Rosser and he took it out and, oh my goodness, this is wrong, that's wrong. I've fiddled with what I can, and I can get it to a point where I'm happy with how it flies with minimal prop wash. And from my perspective, flies well. What I'm not going to do is go ahead and release a how-to PID tune video, because there's a lot of so-called experts out there that don't know their arse from their elbow. And at this point, if I released a video around anything like that, I would be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people. I could show you a video of how I get my tunes to this kind of point where they fly okay, but I'm not going to release a video saying, look at this is amazing, the perfect PID tune in 5 minutes. No, that's not going to happen. This is flying lovely. Let's go over here. Let's do a loop around the tree. What's our signal like? Loads. This is such a great system. This is the R24D Maytech system. It works so well compared to all the other stuff I've tried. You just get miles of range on this thing. Yeah, I like this. So maybe I can do that. I can show you what I've done. But I certainly wouldn't use it as a reference guide to start changing your own tunes. You might fly and go, oh my goodness, this is disgusting. Anyway, back to the point, the Apex Mini. What do I think of it? Well, compared to the a bit of sag, compared to the Copis was a good chassis. I really enjoyed flying that. This seems a little bit more sharp. Again, this is probably to do with the PID tuning and my perspective on how this is responding to that tune. But it seems there's definitely less noise in the chassis. So from what I can see and from the black box logs, there is less noise on this chassis than there is from the Copis. The Copis was quite noisy, especially around the 100 Hertz kind of area. This doesn't seem to have any of those issues. And that means you can relax some of your filtering, increase your D gains a bit, and have a bit more of a sharper handling quad. At least that's what I'm finding, for sure. So, am I happy with it? Yeah, I'm happy with it. I just think it looks cool, all in black, you know. I just think it looks awesome. I nearly fell over there, like me, actual me. Yeah, I like this. Happy with it. It's going to do well. Now all I've got to do is get onto a plane with... I'm going to take 3 drones with me. I'm taking this, my Apex Mini. I'm going to take my QAV S. And I'm going to take a DJI Mini 3 Pro. And the reason for that is because... Hello. The reason for that is because the Mini 3 Pro is an excellent bit of kit for getting in some scenery shots. Let's turn you around. Look at that horizon balancing. Mini 3 Pro is going to be great for getting the shots that I want to out of the beautiful scenery and really just shove it up there and forget about it and have a lazy, relaxing flight. And I like that element. I like that part of it. The QAVS, because I like it and it's ridiculously fast and fun and I can flip-flop that around the countryside and have a lot of fun. And the Apex 3 Mini just because. But I'm really pleased with this. If anyone wants a recommendation on a frame, definitely do this as a build. The build was really fun, and I got lots of things wrong, but it's all part of learning, isn't it? Not like one of these guys who puts out builds. Let me do a build, my first build of an Apex 3. I've done 3 before, and then I show them how easy it is. It was fun, but I got a lot of good feedback off you guys that watched. But anyway, I'm waffling now. That's about it. Apex 3 Mini, would I recommend it? Yes, I would, definitely. 100%. Let me know if you want a rough kind of how I get quads flying-ish, okay-ish, on my certainly non-professional point of view, opinion-based PID tuning. Not a problem, we can run through that when I get back. About it for now. My name's Johnny, I'm an idiot, and the channel is Will It Mod. Thank you very much for watching. I will catch you all again soon, somewhere different. Be well, fly safe, carry on being awesome. I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da!